What's going on, people? We are Tottenham TV, back here for another live stream for you, and the Wanderer has returned. Sim is back in London after his escapades in Hong Kong and Korea. Not much has changed since you've been away.
I feel like I've been away for like 10 years. So much has changed. So much has gone on. I went to Korea. You know, we had a good squad options. Gibbs White, was Gibbs White even happy? I can't remember. Anyway, but so much was going in our favour. Son was still part of the team. Things were looking up in the transfer window. I've come back and everything's gone to shit. It's all changed. Everything's gone on fire. I've come back to restore some sanity to this football club.
You put out a tweet
Gibbs
on the 26th of July. Ali Gold says, "Here are my Spurs player ratings after the Luton game." And he's talking about if Tottenham need a number 10, blah, blah, blah. And you said, Maddison, Decky and Morgan Gibbs-White should solve that.
Well,
now we don't have any of them.
That's gone to shit, hasn't it? That tweet didn't exactly age brilliantly. But first of all, I just want to say Hong Kong and Korea, the people out there, absolutely phenomenal. The support we were getting in Hong Kong and Korea was phenomenal. The South Korea trip kind of turned very quickly because we got there, and then the day we arrived, Son announced he was leaving, and so the trip became something very different to what we intended it to be, and it became just like a big goodbye tour to Sonny, essentially. And
what was it like in the stadium in that game, Newcastle? Because like from what we were seeing on the screens, it just seemed like a testimonial.
It pretty much was. That's what it felt like. So many people just crying in the crowd. I was sitting next to a few Korean fans, and they were just in tears pretty much throughout the whole 90 minutes with the whole what was happening. Everyone was just very, very emotional. Everyone was. A lot of Tottenham fans weren't ready to say goodbye yet, and it kind of, as much as it wasn't unexpected, it still takes you by surprise the way it happened. You know. We knew something was going on. We knew he was unhappy, and his demeanour was. We saw in previous preseason games, he wasn't his usual self, was he? And then we hear this news. He announces it in the press conference that he's leaving, and it was just everyone was just there for Son. It was basically we're all there no one's really concentrating on the game. No one really cared about the game. It was all just about Son. Whenever he touched the ball, it was massive roars. Whenever it looked like he was going to get in on goal or anything like that, it was all just about him. And it was a very emotional day.
Yeah, and to add on to that, like even when he's announced he's leaving, when you get what you got last night of his videos, it just oh my god, man, that was something else. His goodbye videos.
There's been so many goodbyes. In open training, he was waving goodbye. In the game, we had a goodbye. He's then for me personally, I got to kind of say goodbye to him when I bumped into him at his store, which was a real crazy thing that happened as well. We were at his Nice One Son store out in Korea. I was there on my last day to try and get some of his clothes from his store, and he was there, and he just happened to be there at the same time I was. So I got to say goodbye to him. Technically, maybe I was the last English Spurs fan to say goodbye to him. I like to think that. And then we had all these videos come out. We had his the first video. We've had some compilations come out. Then the first video. Then we've had another 3-minute goodbye message, and then even today, I think another compilation video Tottenham released. So there's been so much content around it. It's been all so difficult to watch. There's obviously been, happy as well to look back on those memories and look at what he's achieved, what he's done, and look back at what an unbelievable Spurs career he has had. But it's still just so hard to say goodbye, and to think, today in 2.5 hours time, we're going to be watching the first Spurs game without Son in the squad, and as part of the team, and that's just a surreal feeling.
It did feel, though, like watching the Newcastle game, and his demeanour completely changed after kind of announcing that he was leaving the day before. It felt like a whole weight had just been lifted off his shoulders, and you saw the smiling, happy Sonny back again.
100%. You 100%. That's the way I would phrase it. It was like he'd been carrying this secret for a long time. He said he had decided he wanted to move a while ago.
I mean, those exit videos were done at Tottenham, so they must have been done a while ago.
Exactly. He hasn't had a chance to go back there. So, were they done at Tottenham? They were done with the media team.
It looked like they were done in the room, in the media room at Tottenham.
Yeah. I guess maybe they were, because they were done like he had that real emotional with him crying. Would he have been able to do that a few weeks ago? I guess why not? But I 100% agree. Those what's it called? It's been it was like we saw him smiling again. That weight had definitely been lifted off him, and it was like that sharing that news with everyone was something he just needed to get out, get off his chest. And clearly it must have been planned for a while to release this news out in Korea. And I'm just happy for him that he can move on, and if that was what was making him unhappy, holding this news within himself, I'm happy he's been able to share it with everyone.
Such an emotional time as a Spurs fan. But look, very close to the new season now, 6 days away from the Super Cup. Just over a week away from the start of the season as well, the kickoff at Burnley. And we ain't ready, people. We are not ready for the new season. We're going to start off with a Tottenham update.
Money's Sonny back.
I know,
honestly.
A big, chunky Tottenham update where a lot of news is doing the rounds at this moment in time. But we're going to start off with the devastating injury news of James Maddison, as Spurs did confirm that Madison will undergo surgery for a ruptured anterior cruciate ligament in his right knee. They said that we'll be supporting him in every step of the way. And Fabrizio Romano says that he's going to be out for the next 6 to 7 months. Absolutely devastating. So 6 to 7 months will be around, February, March time, around there. He's going to miss the majority of the season. When he does come back, he's not going to get fully fit. You're not going to see a fit Maddison this season pretty much.
Yes.
So we were looking for a number 10 before Maddison was injured. Now it's like just desperation. We need to get in a creative midfielder ASAP. When you've been watching the preseason games so far this season, the lack of creation has been the thing that has just, thrown into your face. And without Maddison, Kulusevski, which we'll get into a minute, we are just in desperation mode now for a creator.
And clearly the plan was to probably play Madison with a player like a Gibbs-White, who may be either in the 8 or potentially have an ability to play with 2 number 10s. And now we don't have any number 10s in the squad. So it's absolutely gutting. Madison, we saw last season when he's fit and when he's at his best. We know what an important player he is for us. And unfortunately as well, when you look at our squad, he's kind of one of the only players where we don't have another one of him. We don't really have another profile of a Madison. We don't really have another creator in the team. So the fact that he's going to be out for the majority of the season is devastating. It's one of the players who I think it's probably one of the most important players to be out for me in the squad for that amount of time. So for him to suffer as well an ACL at 29 years of age, it's not good news for him whatsoever. It's going to take everything. Obviously, you have players like Perisic who seem to recover from his ACL impressively quickly and is now back to his best at an impressively quick time, but he seems to be an exception. Usually, we know Maddison is a player who hasn't had a great time with injuries in general, let alone now, and now he's suffering this ACL. How he recovers from it, it's going to be very difficult for him, because a player who's quite brittle anyway, suffering this ACL injury, taking time to get back to his best. We've seen with Bentancur how long it's taken him to get back to his best. And he's a more robust player. So it's hard to think when exactly we will ever see Maddison at the top of his game, playing regularly and not suffering regular injuries off the back of this. I'm gutted for him, because I think he would have done so well under Frank this season, in that Damsgaard kind of role. I think it was made for him. Just coming back from injury as well, just getting back on the pitch. Obviously, he played a few minutes against Arsenal, came on against Newcastle, getting ready for the new season, probably gearing up, getting excited. And he was probably had his sights on the World Cup squad. He definitely had his sights on that. I think we know he's a good enough player for that.
In it now.
Well, obviously not. He's out for the whole season, but he's had his sights on that. And it's gutting for him. That was probably his last chance of maybe making that kind of squad as well.
Yeah.
So it's gutting for him. How this will affect him mentally as much as physically, it's going to be a tall order. Look, all I want to say is we're obviously all with Madison, wishing him a speedy recovery. Let's hope he gets back to his best and we get to see a fully fit Madison again in a Tottenham shirt. But right now, it's hard to envisage that. It's just tough. It's tough for him to be suffering that kind of injury. And where it leaves us as well is in a terrible, terrible place. Yeah,
it's going to be a long road of recovery ahead for James Maddison. And and I echo those thoughts. We're obviously with him every step of the way, and let's hope he can get back to full fitness at some point. So that's the James Maddison situation. There's been an injury update on Dejan Kulusevski as well, and Ryan Taylor says that Kulusevski is expected to miss the first month of the new season, so hopefully looking to get him back around September time. I'm guessing around mid-September, which is obviously great for us because I thought maybe he'll be out for a bit longer than that. And, the need for Dejan Kulusevski to get back to full fitness is, even more compounded now with the Maddison injury news. And I hope we don't rush him back now after that news.
Yes, but when you read things, I think we have to be careful when we read news headlines like this, because he says he'll miss the first month. He doesn't say he'll be back after the first month.
That's true.
So you know what I mean? So just because he's going to miss it. I've heard from Ali Gold who says he's not going to be fit until probably November time. That's what he was thinking. Obviously, we've had no confirmation. We don't really know. We had Decky himself, back in I can't remember when it was, during the summer at some point, suggesting he could be back sometime in September, maybe targeting the international break in September. But when he's back to full fitness, when he's back to being match ready, that's another question as well. So I'm not getting my hopes up that he's going to be back after a month. I think probably, if we're lucky, October time, I'm thinking.
You know what? That's absolutely spot on. Absolutely spot on. And you know what? For the first 2 months, we need 2 number 10s, never mind just one, which is just crazy to think about. And we have been linked with a host of number 10s so far, going in today, literally 4 or 5.
But what's quite interesting is in pre-season, he's clearly been trialling Sarr in the number 10, and he's been trialling Bergvall there as well. So he's trying to find solutions.
I mean, Archie Gray was pretty much playing there for a while, and he looked pretty good there.
I think all three of them he's trialling them in that position. So he's trying to find solutions. Clearly, interesting. We haven't seen Kudus there yet, have we?
No.
So that's one as well. We know he can play in that position. So I'm not saying we have solutions, but he's trying different things, isn't he, to try and find a solution.
He's got no option.
Yeah.
All right, let's get into the transfer rumours. First up, we're going to talk about Harvey Elliott. Not exactly the biggest report, but it says the Times reports that Spurs are not pursuing the Harvey Elliott situation after initial talks over a possible deal.
I would, to be honest, at this point. We're not in a great situation. Targets have been running out, and I think Harvey Elliott is a really good player. I really like him. I know I've been on record saying I have issues about potentially his attitude, all this, not attitude, but I don't know, his personality, I guess, let's say. But I think he's a really good talent. Would fit in really well at Tottenham, I think, from a playing point of view. So unless it's something for some reason cost-wise, it's just completely unrealistic. There's talks of Leipzig. You think if Leipzig can afford him, can we afford him? We probably. So
I think the main chat at the moment is Nottingham Forest.
I would like him. At Tottenham. I think when you're considering the other options that we're looking at, I don't know if he's the best, but I think he's one I wouldn't just discount out. But I think he's a really good player, and I think he's ready to be a starter somewhere, in my opinion.
The price that has been banded about is 40 million with a buyback option, or 50 million without a buyback option. Like 50 million for Harvey Elliott. Does that seem of value? But I mean, we are in desperation mode right now.
It's a bit steep, but you're also talking, 50 million for Tyler Dibbling. That's the kind of rate we're talking at the moment. Yeah. Then again, we paid 55 for Kuda, so I can understand 50 is probably a bit steep. I think 40 is probably more fair, but I wouldn't play 40 with a buyback. I'd rather pay the extra 10 million for sure.
There are other options. I mean, I don't understand why Spurs don't go and pursue someone like a Lee Kangin. Eberechi Eze as well. They're talking about obviously 68 million for him. If you're talking about 50 million for Harvey Elliott and 68 million for Eberechi Eze, there's a no-brainer there, obviously. The Eberechi to Arsenal thing doesn't seem to be developing. If that doesn't develop, Spurs need to swoop in there. Spurs need to go get that done.
I think we should just, like we did with Gibbs White, just put the money down and say, we're ready for you. And if Arsenal aren't prepared to do what we have to show, we want you more than Arsenal want you. Put the money down and show, look, we're prepared to put the money down right now because we really want you, and we really think you'll fit in well here. And I think someone like Eze would be perfect because, fits in on the left points as well, because if we're not sure about Telenodabe, he can play there. And when Decky comes back, and obviously we need that number 10 right now. So I think someone like him would be absolutely perfect.
Yeah.
But whether we can get there ahead of Arsenal, we'll have to wait and see.
Yeah. Next up, we're going to talk about Leicester's Bilal El Khanous, and the Times are reporting that Khanous is an attacking midfield option that is being monitored by the club at this moment in time. El Khanous has a release clause, apparently about £22 million. Look, he was a very good player in the Premier League last year. Obviously did go down with Leicester. I've said it on a number of occasions. I think he's very good attacking player that can thread the ball through the eye of the needle, left foot, right foot, exciting player. But there is question marks about his kind of physicality and is he too lightweight?
I think he did quite well for a Leicester team that was absolutely shambolic. I think given the circumstance, he actually performed decent. So I think I like him. I think he did all right for Leicester last season. But again, we need a starter. We need someone who's going to be a star in this team. Is he the guy? I'm not certain of that. I don't know if he's the guy to come in and, replace Maddison and Decky. These are big shoes to fill. I think the other guys are talking about are maybe more ready for that.
No, I agree with that. And I was saying, like, when we were first linked with El Khanous, it was before Maddison's injury. And I was saying, all right, with Maddison and El Khanous as kind of an understudy for him, I think that'd be a really good move for us. But I do understand and agree with what you're saying. Like, if you bring him in as the starter, it is very underwhelming. But I do think he's a player that can come in and surprise a lot of people if we do bring him in.
Yeah.
Next up is the news regarding Nico Pats. DiMarzio broke a story earlier today saying that Spurs have had a €40 million bid rejected for Nico Pats, as Como do value him at €70 million. Real Madrid have the option to match any offers for Nico Pats or take a 50% of his transfer value. Ryan Taylor, though, did come out straight away pretty much and says Tottenham sources deny that a bid has been lodged for Nico Pats. And George Sessions from the PA says that Spurs have not bid for Como's Nico Pats, despite reports in Italy suggesting that they have. Now, we know that Como, they're a quite well-off club, don't desperately need the money. And on top of that, whatever they accept for Nico Pats, they've got to give 50% of that to Real Madrid. So there's no surprise why they would be demanding a massive fee for him.
Yeah, it sounds like a difficult deal to do. When it comes to him as a player, from what I've read and what I've seen, this guy seems like one we should really go for. He's number 10, but he's 6'1", very physical, great left foot. Had a phenomenal season in Serie A last season. I think got 15 goal contributions last season for Como. So I think he's one who's only 20 as well. So he's really up and coming. He's so creative. If you watch some of the assists he was able to do last season, phenomenal passing range, great, really great creativity, unbelievable vision. But as you say, I think the Real Madrid clause, the fact that Como aren't going to be desperate to sell as well, it's going to make this deal very, very difficult to do, in my opinion. Now, we might be in a position where we're so desperate, maybe we'll just pay the 70 million. 70 million is a bit of, again, a very steep fee for a player who's really only had one good season in Serie A. But are we in that? If we're certain this kid is the future and this kid can come in and fill the boots that we need him to fill, I think it might be worth paying that money. But then if you're going to pay 70 million euros for him, you might as well just try your luck with the release clause for Eze.
Exactly. Like Nico Pats, as much as I think he's going to be an unbelievable player in the future, at 20 years of age with only one season behind him, it is a massive risk to tell him to come in and fill Maddison's boots. It is. However good you think he can be in the future, and I think he can be a top player in the future, but can he do it this season coming up and fill those boots to James Maddison? The amount of goal contributions, the amount he dictating the tempo of play that he was doing for last season, a key central role to our team, as well as the leadership abilities that he did have, part of the leadership group. So as much as I'd love to see Nico Pats through the door at this club, I do think, like, when you're comparing him to an Eze or someone that can come in and hit the ground running and do it straight away, I do think it's a risk.
It's a risk, but I think if you're talented enough and you're certain about it, then go for it. And this kid looks super talented.
No,
Everyone's very excited about him.
I agree.
And physically, most importantly, he looks like he's ready for the Premier League.
You're talking about 70 million, though. Like, 70 million is a massive outlay. And I think, like, on the face of things, forget all the situations of 50 million for Real Madrid and Como don't need the money, etc. 40 million as a starting offer, I think, is pretty fair, to be honest, for Nico Pats.
I think, though, when it comes to where he would be, on my list, compared to when you're talking about some of the other players we're talking about, I think he'd be number one, potentially.
Yeah,
Apart from Eze.
maybe. Yeah, on the list maybe that we've got here today, but players that I want ahead of Nico Pats is, first of all, Eberechi Eze, and second of all, I'd prefer a Lee Kang-in as well.
Maybe a Lee Kang-in as well, yeah.
Like Lee Kang-in, I don't understand yet. I think it's an absolute no-brainer. I've been banging this on for the last 2 days. People are probably fed up of hearing about it, but he's not getting in the team at PSG. I think he's such, like, when he's playing for Korea, he's kind of like out wide and he still makes an impact. But when he comes into those central areas, he's so creative and he's got experience now. And I think it's a deal that should be, we should be seriously looking at it.
I agree. I think for some reason it's gone wrong for him at PSG. They've found a way of playing without him, and we need number 10. So I would love to consider Lee Kang-in, but apparently they don't want to sell him.
But he wants to leave, apparently, as well.
If that's true, maybe there's a deal to be done.
Yeah. Anyway, next up, we're going to talk about Magnus Akelouche of Monaco. Ryan Taylor says that Monaco's Akelouche has been scouted by Tottenham. However, it is unclear whether he's an active target for the club. Again, a player that's shone this year in the French league. 12 assists, 7 goals for Monaco. You're talking about 23 years of age. Bayer Leverkusen have also been heavily linked with him in the last couple of weeks. Is this guy a player that you would like to see at the club?
I really like him. I was watching him in the Champions League last season a lot, and he's so talented. He was playing kind of more right wingery, not quite a winger though, more of like a.
It's like a winger that drifts inside.
Yeah, like how I describe it is like when Bernardo Silva plays out wide. He's out wide, but he drifts inside. He can play. In those central pockets, like when Decky used to play out wide, he's not really a winger. He's more of like a wide number 10. That's kind of like how Akelouche is, and he's got a great left foot. He's so technical, really good in tight spaces. Do we bring him in to play number 10, or does he suit that wide kind of number 10 role? That's the only question I have. But what I would say is just so talented. I would love someone like him in our team. I think he'd really up the kind of technical level again in the squad. Just where we fit him in. Do you buy him to play number 10? And if we're not buying him to play number 10, do you buy him at all? That's the question.
You could buy him as like a wide player and then move Kudus into the number 10. You could do something like that, but I'd prefer just to get a specialised 10, to be honest.
That's the thing. And I think he wants someone in the number 10 with a good passing range, because we kind of, when Decky comes back, we have a Decky who's more of a ball carrier, number 10, and that's obviously what Kudus would be if he plays there. But we need to sign someone to replace that passing ability Madison has.
Yeah.
Now, he has a good passing ability, Akelouche, but again, his number 10 is position. I don't know.
What is his natural position, though? I know he's played where he's played for Monaco, but is that his actual natural position, or his natural position is a 10? I don't know. That's
what I'm saying, yeah, I don't know.
It could be, though. Like, with the attributes that he has, his natural position could actually be a 10. That's
what I'm saying. Like, if you're looking for a number 10, like, if you're looking for a number 10, do you buy Akelouche? That's my question. I don't know.
Next up, we're going to talk about James McAtee, as Graham Bailey says that Spurs have held fresh talks this week with Man City over the possibility of signing James McAtee. Nottingham Forest, again, are heavily linked with him. But, I think he's a player that is like ready to go start for a Premier League side. Is he ready to go start for a Premier League Champions League side? That's a different story and different question. Yeah,
I like McAtee again. I don't think he's as good as any of the guys we've been talking about, to be honest. I think the other players are probably better than him right now. I liked him at Sheffield United.
Sample size is so small though. Like Cole Palmer as well. We were talking about him in a similar fashion. We were talking, how could Cole Palmer go? How can Chelsea spend so much money on Cole Palmer and he's like one of the best players in the Premier League straight away?
I know, but I don't think he's Cole Palmer's level from what I've seen. I know it's small sample size, but even Palmer for City in the small sample size, I remember he scored in the Charity Shield, brilliant goal against Arsenal. I then remember, I think in the Super Cup, he scored the winner a few days later.
It's true. And then McAtee has scored a fair amount for Man City last season as well.
He scored a few, but I don't like those are big moments. Obviously, Palmer stepped up in. I like McAtee. He's a little kind of like diminutive number 10. good like in little tight spaces. I just don't know. I don't know if he's, again, the level we're looking at. I like him, though. I think as like a backup number 10, for sure. But as replacing Maddison, I don't know if he's the one.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's always going to be a hard task replacing Madison. That's the honest truth. The next player that we are going to talk about is Brahim Diaz. As there's a report here that says Tottenham are reportedly considering a move for Brahim Diaz this summer. The 26-year-old scored 6 goals and picked up 8 assists last season. Spurs are said to be very keen on the Moroccan international.
I really liked him. I remember we played against him when he was at AC Milan. And he scored the winner against us in a Champions League game. I think whenever I've seen him for Madrid, he's one of these players where never seems to nail down a starting spot. But whenever he plays, he seems to do
Why is that, though? There's got to be a reason.
Why? Because they've got Rodrigo and they've got Vinicius and Mbappe. That's why. And he's never going to get a look in there. No matter how good he is, he's just not. And they've got Gula, who they spent big money on as well, Arda Gula. So I feel bad for him because whenever he plays, he seems to do well. But I remember... Was it last season or the season before? He scored one of the best goals in the Champions League, I think, that season against, I think it was Leipzig. He literally dribbled past, it was in a knockout game, dribbled past 3 players and bent it into the far corner from the edge of the box. It was one of the, I remember watching that game live. It was one of the best goals I've seen that season. So he's super talented. Again, another player, is he more of a right winger than a number 10? He's more of a dribbler. I don't know. If we look at if you're telling me we're looking for a right winger to compete with like Kudus and Johnson, I'll say yeah, get him. But if we're saying we want him to replace Madison number 10, not so sure.
Yeah. Say that for everyone.
I wouldn't say no to him, but he's just not. I don't think he's a natural number 10. I don't think he's like a natural right winger per se, but he's more of like a right-sided player than a number 10. I would say.
Well, I think he can probably play both roles, and if he comes in, he can cover both positions on the right wing and as a number 10.
Yeah, but it depends what kind of number 10 we're looking for. I don't think he's a number 10 who dictates play, gets on the ball, has vision.
He's more of a direct player.
Yeah, he gets on the ball, runs at people, dribbles, can maybe make a cross to the back post kind of thing, but he's not the kind of guy who's going to, in settled play, get on the ball, unpick the lock kind of thing. But, maybe we can adjust to that. It's not necessarily to say we can't play with the number 10 like that. But I'm just saying Maddison's gone. Are we looking for that kind of number 10? He's not that kind of number 10.
No. Well, that is the number 10s that we have been linked with so far today. I'm sure more names are going to be added into the mixer and into the hat. There's been an update on the Golden Guest podcast regarding our left wing situation, and they're saying that unless another attacker leaves, Spurs are not looking to sign a replacement for Son Heung-min. Thomas Frank has taken a real shine to Wilson Odebear. Where have I heard that kind of thing before?
Every year. That's just Tottenham for you, isn't it? It's not what we want to hear. Of course it isn't. We want to hear that our talisman, our captain, is leaving and we're going to be signing a big name replacement for big money to replace him. I think the reality is, tell us what we signed to replace him for 30 million. That's the reality, I think, because Odebear looks like he's going to be playing on the left now. We got Johnson and Kudus on the right. We got Odebear and Tell on the left. Even Richarlison can play that. And I actually think, thinking about it as well more, Richarlison's going to be much more suited to playing on the left under Frank than he would have been under Ange as well, and in the way he plays when he does play on the left. So you got him as an option, but obviously he's going to be playing up front at the moment due to Solanke's injury. Again, we have squad limitations in terms of squad size and all that kind of stuff. Unless someone leaves, like a Richarlison, I don't see the space for another attacker right now as much as I would want one.
I think going into the season with the attacking options that we have is terrible. I really think so. You're looking at the teams that we're supposed to be fighting against. They've all got better attacking options than us by far. Odebear, I think, has started pre-season really well. Tell, not so much. 2 20-year-olds on the left wing to try and replace the goal contributions that Sonny has given us every season is not good enough. You're talking about Madison, Son out, Kulusevski out for, a long time as well, for the next few months at least. That's 67 goal contributions that was in the side last season. Where are those coming from?
It's a great question. I agree with you, to be honest. I think we're in a bad situation. Very bad situation. And even just getting a number 10 isn't going to fix that. I think we need more firepower. Kudus, as much as I like Kudus, he's not a goal contribution machine. Even in his best seasons, he's not a guy who's going to guarantee you. He's not there just for goal contributions. He brings a lot to the team, but he's not there guaranteeing you 20 goal contributions. That's not his role. He's there, with his specific skill set. So you got Johnson there, who obviously gets you goals and stuff. But in terms of real quality, I think we're banking on Tell to turn up, and we've signed him for 30 million. We know he's a very talented player. We know, I think in terms of profile, he's very much similar profile to kind of how Son is. So I think as soon as we sign Tell, I think that was the thinking. He could potentially be Son's long-term replacement. It's not what people want to hear, but if we've signed him, you're going to have to back him. And you can't sign him and then say he's not good enough before he's had a go, I guess. And that's the thinking.
Yeah, look, there's one thing signing a player that you think can do well in the future. There's another thing signing him as Son's replacement. You're talking about Son, the biggest legend at this football club in the Premier League era, that would got us a minimum of 20 goal contributions every season. Tell's not going to do that from the off, and we need goals straight away. We need someone that can come in and hit the ground running. He's already been here for 6 months. He didn't hit the ground running. I think he can be better than what he was last season. Don't get me wrong, I like Tell, but to sit here and say that he can pick up the mantle of what Son's leaving, I think that's just crazy talk, to be honest.
Yeah, it's going to be tough. There's no evidence. Unfortunately, in this pre-season, he's been playing a lot up front because of due to injuries and stuff. So we haven't even seen him off the left too much. So it's tough to envisage he's going to be getting us the goals Son will. So can we get in the transfer market? I would like to think so, but we've got 4 players there. So who's leaving? I don't like. Is Odegaard going to leave? He likes Odegaard apparently now. So Johnson's not going anywhere. Kuda's just signed. So unless you're selling Richarlison and maybe making Tell a striker and then signing another left winger, I guess that's an option. But Richarlison at the moment doesn't seem any close to leaving at the moment, is it?
Yeah,
looks like he might be staying.
Yeah, look, it's not a good situation going forward. I guess we need to start off with the number 10 because that's the most urgent matter. But it doesn't look like we're signing anyone else in the forward line. Maybe a striker if Richarlison leaves. That's about it.
But yeah, it's scary to think about the amount of goal contributions without exiting the team and how we're gonna replace that.
Yeah.
It's I don't know. It's scary, to be honest, because at the moment, I don't even see half that.
Yeah. It's just not a Champions League strike force. That is not a Champions League strike force. You've got Solanke and Richarlison, who, Solanke didn't get enough goals last season. Richarlison is always injured. Odegaard and Tell, 2 young kids coming through who've got big futures ahead of them. And the only one, which really I would say is quality enough right now for a Champions League squad, is probably Kudus.
And he just had a bad season.
Yeah.
It's not looking good. Not looking good. I'd love to sit and say, we should go get Leao, we should get all these players, but we're not going to.
However, having said that, there is a report linking us to Man City's Savinho. Tottenham are eyeing a surprise move for Man City's Savinho. He only just joined City last summer for 30.8 million, but I can safely say this one ain't going to happen.
No, I like Savinho, but he ain't coming to Tottenham.
Yeah.
I know he didn't have the easiest first season, I think, for City. I think he showed flashes of brilliance. I think for his age, I think he did quite well, but because he was brought in as a replacement for big players and as a new look City, he didn't quite live up to the big hype. I think he got better as the season went on though, and I expect a better second season from him, but I don't see City letting him go.
Yeah, me as well. Next up, we're going to talk about Kota Takai. As Alice de Gold says, the plan for Kota Takai is for him to stay with the first team after recovering from his injury. Only if Dragoshin fully recovers before the end of the transfer window might they consider loaning him out.
And they're talking about Vuskovic loaning him out. now, which is I don't understand it. And we're looking
So-
for another centre back still.
I just don't get the plans of this football club in terms of this whole centre-back situation. I thought that they were thinking of bringing in Kota Takai to be part of the first team, not just because of Dragusin's injury, just because they thought he's got the quality to be part of the first team. Now, Alistair Gold's saying, well, he's only going to be part of the first team, really, if Dragusin makes a quick recovery.
If he
doesn't make a quick recovery.
Well, I heard that Dragusin is still 2 months away at least. So it doesn't sound like he's
And now we're still looking for another senior centre-back to come in as well on top of that. So obviously they don't really think Kota Takai can come in and hit the ground running.
But doesn't he have quite a nasty injury?
I don't know if it's nasty or not. I haven't heard anything about his injury. I've just
I
heard that
was
he's injured.
talking to some people on the tour. They said it could be a few weeks.
Few weeks.
Yeah, like he's got an ankle injury. But it's a few weeks, but you know, it can take a bit of time to get over. So I don't know. I don't know if he's going to be fit, when he's going to be fit as well. So the whole thing seems to be a mess. I don't understand why you would loan out Vuskovic in this situation. Why not keep him around and have him just play fourth choice, have him Danso, Van de Ven, Romero, and then Dragusin for when he comes back. And then you have Kota there as well, but all loan out Kota at least. Vuskovic has been playing in pre-season. Kota's not had a pre-season. So how is he going to be when he comes back into the team? He's going to have to take time to get used to it. So I would much rather loan him out than Vuskovic. I think Vuskovic just came in and done well every time. I don't think he's had a bad game, really. I can't think.
Yeah, I mean, I think he only got significant minutes in one of the games, right? In the first game where he scored that goal and got an assist. Apart from that, we've barely seen him.
He played a half, didn't he? Another half in one of the friendlies.
Maybe in Luton or Wickham.
Yeah,
he
one of
played
those
a half,
games. And
yeah.
then he came on. I think, did he not come on in both games? It didn't.
I think late, though. I don't think we saw much of him.
Yeah, but he still came on in both those games. So he's been playing most of the pre-season games as an 18-year-old. So I look, he looked all right. So look, they know him behind the scenes. They know him in training. So clearly they feel like he needs another year development. And if that's the case, who am I to argue that? I'm just saying, from the outside looking in, it makes more sense to me to loan out Kota and keep Vuskovic around.
But why are they looking for another senior centre-back to come in? Like, when we've got so many more pressing issues, we've got enough centre-backs.
From what I saw from Andy Gold's article, he was saying that Romero, Van de Ven have history of getting long-term injuries. Dragusin has got a long-term injury. That leaves you with just Danso as your only senior centre-back if something bad was to again happen to Romero and Van de Ven. So on that basis, do you need another one? But, there's even problems we haven't even mentioned, which were also in trouble. Doggy, how bad's his injury? Now we're left with Ben Davis, who's, again,
Spence will play there.
We've got Spence, but Davis is our only senior left-back. So, but at the moment, it should be, that means what? We're relying on Porro again to play every game.
Yeah.
So that's also another bad situation, wherever way you look at it. So either we're relying on Ben Davis to play more, or we're relying on Porro to play every game. And either situation is not ideal. And that's another situation we've left ourselves very, very short because we didn't sign one of Sirkin or Walker-Peters, which whatever, we didn't. And so we're left in this situation where we're very short in those positions. And that's been a long-standing issue. That was an issue last year about understudy to a doggy, which we still, a year later, have not addressed again. And we were speaking when Davis got that contract. And I was saying, as much as I respect him, giving him a contract just keeps him in the squad. And now Frank is saying he's such an important member of the squad and leadership, and I get it. But I just don't want to see young, hungry wingers in the Champions League running at Ben Davis at left back again. I just don't want to see that. And we are going to be seeing it. I guarantee you we're going to be seeing it. And we're going to be seeing him play more in the Premier League. And for me, we have to move on from him as well. It's time for Son to go, and how hard that is. It's time for Davis to go as well. It has been time for a long time, and we're going to be sitting here for another year. And I think he's going to be part of the leadership group this year, to be honest, hearing what Frank's saying. And he's going to be at left back this year, and he's not going to be at centre back. And that's another issue. So we've got so many issues in this squad, which is crazy. We've got all these issues, yet we've got barely any space to fix it. It's crazy.
Yeah. In a very, very...
And at this point as well, is it fair to say, was it a mistake to potentially loan out Donnelly in this current market as well?
Well, I think they would have loaned out Donnelly, like, knowing full well they need a number 10. I think Donnelly, his loan got announced after the tour.
Yeah.
So they knew Madison was injured when they loaned Donnelly out.
I know, but I'm just saying, for Donnelly doesn't have to be registered in the squad, right, for Champions League.
I was saying this. I've been saying this for the last 2 weeks. I've been mentioning Donnelly when I've been speaking to Brian. I was like, if Maddison is injured and Kulusevski's out for the first few months of the season, why not keep Donnelly around?
You have to, because then that means, because we were saying you might need 2 number 10s. Well, Donnelly can be there as one of them.
Yeah.
So that for me, if you knew Maddison as an ACL, doesn't make sense to me, because Donnelly would get game time. And what I was saying, we were talking about this months ago, like sometimes players just need that opportunity. And, if we want to give youth an opportunity, you have to make sometimes sacrifices. Well, at this point, we actually don't even have to make a sacrifice. There's a space there because of injuries.
Sacrifice has already been made.
Exactly. So might as well give him that opportunity to show he can be part of the first team.
Well, he's at Stoke now, so
I know,
there's nothing we can do.
I think that's a mistake now.
Yeah, it's looking like it. And last but not least, L'Equipe are reporting that Tottenham are awaiting to see PSG's stance on Zabiani deal. Spurs are ready to pay €70 million fee that Bournemouth demands and will pounce if PSG fail to complete the deal for the Ukrainian centre-back. Look, I think we've spoken about him so much on this channel. The PSG thing, I don't know what's going on, but they've been like imminent to sign him for like a few months now. Nothing's happened. Is he the centre-back? I mean, he's a great centre-back. He's been brilliant for Bournemouth over the last couple of years. I'd love to see him here, but if everyone's fit, does he get into our team?
Who's Zabriani? Yeah, I mean, is he better than Van der Ven or Romero? Basically, the question you're asking, and probably not. I would love him though. I think he's phenomenal. If you want a centre back. Look, it's expensive. I think he's a quality centre back. You're looking, Heisen went for what, 50?
Yeah,
I think that's probably a more fair price for him. But obviously they've sold so many players, haven't they, Bournemouth, that they're not in desperate need to sell, so they can hike up the price.
Are we actually willing to pay 70 million for Zabriani when we have someone like Son leaving the club and we only replace him with a 35-year-old, 20-year-old? Like, it's just the club's got its priorities just all wrong.
Well, it sounds like to me our name's probably just being used.
Yeah,
to
it does sound like
PSG to get them over the line.
It does sound like that. But I mean, if we take this report on face value, I think it's just mental.
Yeah, why are we prepared to pay 70 million for him, but we're not prepared to push the bar out and pay 70 million for Eze?
Yeah, exactly.
Well, that doesn't make sense to me.
No, it doesn't make sense. But a lot of what this club do don't make sense at times. But yeah, look, the reality is we're in a desperate situation on a number of positions in the squad. We've got 6 days to go till we kick off our season out in Udine for the Super Cup. A few days after that, we kick off against Burnley, and then a week after that, we got to go to the Etihad, Man City away. So much to do, not much time to do it. And once again, it looks as though we're going into the season just not ready.
So we're at the moment of time of recording where we have 5 centre-backs yet. That seems to be one of our priorities to bring through the door, because we still feel like we need another one in there. We're lacking depth at left-back at the moment because we don't have a backup for a backup for
Frank's
a doggy.
already confirmed like left-back's not an
we're
issue
not going to sign a full-back. We have 2 injured number 10, so we're desperate for a player in that position. We've sold Son, but we're not going to replace him on left wing, so we're going to rely on Tal Nodebear. And we currently have 2 strikers right now, one who's injured and one who's injury prone.
Yeah, that's exactly where we're at this moment.
So basically, the only positions we're really okay in is our right wing and maybe right back, if you consider Spencer right back.
Yeah, right
and
wing,
keeper.
CM. I think we're all
right.
right
And CM, yeah, and CM.
Got Paulinho in there.
So centre mid and right wing. We're okay in.
Seems like decent squad building going into the new season.
God.
But look, that is your hefty Tottenham update. Let us know your thoughts in the comments section below. Got a couple of super chats to bring to you, or just one super chat actually, from Marcus that says, "What are your thoughts on signing Georgi Sudakov?"
I like Sudakov.
Yeah, in the number 10.
Good, strong
just
number
before
10
the
as well.
Euros, I mean, there was a massive kind of talk about him, wasn't there? Spurs were linked with him at the time. A couple of the other clubs were linked to him, and he actually had a really strong Euros, didn't he?
He did, and I think I've seen him in the the Champions League as well, and I've seen him playing quite well. I know it's quieting down a bit about him, but I think he's a really good player.
They wanted like 70, 80 million from it at the time.
Yeah.
Which is mad.
I think, I like him. I think he's one to, look, at the moment, we can't rule out anything, to be honest. You can't, because we're just so desperate. We're so desperate for number 10. I wouldn't be surprised if we maybe even go back in for Ramsey and consider him a 10 or something. I wouldn't even be surprised.
Just go and put your money on the table for Eberechi Eze and see what happens. That's got to be our number one priority, Eze.
That'd be my dream.
It's got to be.
Dream.
Anyway, let's move on, because obviously it was a very emotional day yesterday. So we're going to go and see how the internet did react to those Sonny videos. And first and foremost, we've got Instagram post from Deli Ali saying, "My brother for life." And then he said, "You have left a legend." And yeah, no truer words. Yeah, he really has left a legend. And on the Delhi situation, I really hope he can find a new club and get back on his feet.
Yeah, it sounds like he's considering retiring, which is gutting.
Well, apparently
for him.
that's not true.
It's not true.
Yeah,
well,
there was a further report saying he's actually looking for a new club.
Okay, good. And I hope he's had so many fresh starts now. Let's just hope there's someone he can go to where he finds a home, and maybe LAFC.
That'd be quite something.
Get Lloris and Son helping him out and get him playing well again. But yeah, they had such great times together. We know Sonny, also great friends to him. So yeah, it's hard to see that. Delhi on Instagram say goodbye, brother for life. But let's hope Delhi can sort himself out.
Yeah. There was this video after the game against Newcastle, which I just thought was so beautiful from Son. I don't think we've covered it on here, so I thought I'd bring it to you today. So it's in Korean, but you've got the subtitles here. So he says, one second, he says, "It's worth mentioning that it was the first time I saw my good friend Ben Davis cry like that. He kept on saying, 'Don't get too close to me.' See him tearing up with all his eyes going red and all. Made me feel sorry and thankful at the same time. A mixture of feelings, really. But as a godfather of his son, I need to strive for more to make my godson proud."
It's very nice. Oh, that's...
And
Sonny always knows how to
and I
find
want
the
to try
best
and become a
words.
better person. Sonny always knows the best words to say, doesn't he?
Yeah, and yeah, Davis doesn't seem like the most emotional guy, does he?
No.
But to get Ben Davis emotional, you have to be a special person.
Yeah. Spurs tweeted this out after the announcement to Son yesterday, quote retweeting David Ornstein's bomber back in 2015, saying Tottenham considering ending interest in Saido Berahino in talks with Bayer Leverkusen to sign Korean forward Son Heung-min. And they just retweeted it yesterday saying it will never work.
Well, that was a proper sliding doors moment, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Imagine if Berahino transfer went through, we never got Sonny.
I know, like we literally, after that Berahino saga, we never really heard from him after that.
No, completely flopped massively. Yeah. And Sonny, not only did he become an unbelievable player for us, but a legend, captain. Who would have thought?
Yeah, unbelievable. And who would have thought as well at the end of his first season? Because he was finding life hard in London.
Nearly left.
He nearly left. Pochettino had to kind of convince him to stay. So we actually have Pochettino to thank for all of this.
We do. Poch is the one who saw the vision.
Yeah. First team coach Matt Wells wrote a message on Instagram for Sonny, and he said, "The epitome of the word legend, an incredible player, top professional, but an even better person. It's been a pleasure working with you for the past 27 months. Couldn't be happier that you got the final chapters you deserve to close your book at this great football club. The armband, that unforgettable night in Bilbao, the trophy that came with it, and the last week's emotional send-off in South Korea. Your legendary status here is well and truly cemented. Best of luck in your next adventure, and thank you for the memories, Wellesley."
Oh, lovely from Matt Wells. He obviously remains at the club in the coaching staff, but was brought here. Yeah, 27 months. Yeah, nice.
This next one is a promotional video from LAFC. Look at that. I need to get that kit, by the way. That is such a nice kit, LAFC with Son on the back. I am definitely getting that.
Yeah, it's got to be had, 100%.
I'm definitely getting that. But look at how cold that is from Sonny. Look at that.
Did you see? I don't know if you saw in the press conference at LAFC, one of the journalists asked Son, do you think you can? What's it called? We're hoping next summer that we can win the World Cup. Are you going to help us?
Yeah,
I was like, oh my god, what has he walked into?
I also saw as well, which was quite surprised me in the press conference yesterday, that he literally came out and said, yeah, LAFC wasn't my first choice, but I got swayed. Like, how often do you see that in an entering press conference?
Just happy to admit it.
Honest by Son. What was his first choice, do you reckon?
I don't know, because there was rumours. I don't know if you saw the report from one of these Asian outlets saying that Barca and Atletico were both last January very highly interested in him, and he'd said he wanted to concentrate on the Europa League before making any decisions. So I wonder if that was, I don't know. And
there was also heavy reports of Saudi as well.
Yeah.
So
I think LA would have been ahead of Saudi for him though.
You would have but you would think maybe like for 1-2 years get the Saudi money, the amount of money he'd be paid there.
Yeah, maybe.
THFC Matthew Season says, I think I've seen it all already, man. And this was Harry Kane 2023 and now Sonny 2025. And it's quite unbelievable when you're looking at the last two managers to walk through the door. Ange Postecoglou a week before the season, or the eve of the season I think it was, lost Harry Kane. And now Thomas Frank a week before the season starts, lose Son Heung-min.
I know. Classic Tottenham with their planning and how they go about things. And also you think about, we have lost them two, and you just look at the squad now, and without that kind of talent in it, and it's like it's so lacking when you don't have a Kane or a Son. Mm-hmm. We don't have any stars really. You have Romero.
Yeah.
No proper attacking stars.
No.
Especially with Madison now injured. I think you can maybe count Madison, but he's injured.
But even Madison was like getting dropped from the England squad and all that. Like, I know he's a very good player, Madison, don't get me wrong, but like he wasn't even like a confirmed player in his national team setup. So
no Kane, no Son.
When you're looking at Kane and Son, we are not going to be getting players of that level for a very, very long time at this football club.
Unless we re-sign Kane.
Unless we re-sign Kane. But even if we re-sign Kane, like what is he going to be, 33, 34 years of age?
Yeah, but then again, Kane and Son weren't at that level until they were, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
We didn't sign them at that level.
Yeah. Well, we didn't sign Kane at all. But yeah, I get what you're saying. Obviously, they became those level of players, but I just can't see it. I just can't see it. I know, obviously, you don't know what's going to, how everything materializes in the future. But it's hard to see anyone getting to Kane and Son levels.
Oh, yeah, that's for sure. I mean, these are two of the best Premier League players of all time.
Exactly. And we've they're out the door now. And it just looks like, where the hell does this front line go from here?
Yeah, I think people are really going to see now. You're going to see how much these guys were carrying us.
Yeah.
People don't realise, I think.
Yeah. And, Kane left and Son kind of picked up the mantle, didn't he? Scored 17 goals that season in the number 9. Even in probably one of his worst seasons in Spurs shirt last year, still picked up over 20 goal contributions, a declining Son. And now you're looking at it, and where are these goal contributions coming from?
But even saw last season, Son had a drop-off.
Yeah.
No one stepped up. I know Johnson got goals, but I mean, he got goals, but it was like, what, in the Premier League, was it 12, 11? So it wasn't like he got crazy amount. He got a good amount, don't get me wrong. It's not nothing to be unhappy about, but no one really stepped up to get a big amount of goals.
Yeah.
And who is going to do that?
Yeah, I don't know. So I think that when we were looking at Kane and when we were looking at Son, as much as, we love them at this football club, I think, you take it for granted, don't you? When these players have been at you for so long. And they've contributed so much. Just like, all right, yeah, Kane and Son will get us out the shit, but we don't have them anymore to get us out the shit.
No.
All right, next up, Tottenham. That Tottenham feed. Look at this picture: a kid to a man, a younger son. Well, a Sonny looking at his old self in the mirror. That's a great picture.
I love that. And people noticed in his final game, he got his old hairstyle back.
Yeah.
That he had right at the beginning. I wonder if he did that on purpose.
Of course he did. Of course he did. CAA Base have tweeted out saying there's a new star in town. Sonny has signed for LAFC after 10 seasons at Tottenham, where he became a club legend and an icon of the Premier League. From all at CAA Base and CAA Sport, we wish We send our congratulations to Sonny and wish him the very best of luck in LA. I'm just not ready for this, man. I'm really not ready to see Son in a different club shirt. I obviously wish him the best, and he felt it was time to move on, which I accept, but I'm just not ready for it.
Yeah. And you never are going to be ready for it when someone like him leaves. 100%. It was interesting. I was chatting to Dad picked me up from the airport yesterday. I was chatting to him. He's like, he said, you've done so many videos on Son leaving. You didn't do this many when Kane left. And I said, it's just a different situation. Kane was asking to leave for years. He didn't win that trophy. I know Kane was a legend. I love Kane. And I don't hold anything against Kane, but Son is in a different level of love. And it's a shame that it's like that, but it is like that.
I agree. And also, you look back at it, you look at the 2 exit videos from both players.
Yeah.
Kane's, I look back on Kane's now, because I was like, when I watched Kane's at the time, it was like, yeah, very emotional moment. But then when you compare it to Son's,
It's shameful.
I mean, I look back at Kane's now, it's like emotionless. Like that Kane exit video was completely emotionless.
It's shameful. I mean, but I don't know whose fault it is while it was like that. Because
obviously Kane was like rushed out the club. And
yeah,
stuff like
apparently he they didn't let him back in. Or something.
Yeah, they didn't let him get his belongings from his locker. They didn't let him back in the training ground. They didn't let him say bye to his staff and everything like that. But you still have that connection with the fan base, regardless.
Yeah. So is it Kane's fault that the goodbye was like that, or is it the club's fault that the goodbye was like that? Because
I think
could the club have organised something like they've done for Son? But then again, if I remember rightly, there was that whole day when the transfer was going through. He was at the airport. They told him to go back. All this toing and froing. So maybe he was sick of what was going on, and he just went to Germany, and they never had time to plan this whole stuff. So either way, I look back on that and I just think it's just so sad that that's how Kane left and said goodbye. But I'm just happy now that we're doing it properly with Son.
Yeah, I think we've let Son leave on his own terms.
Yeah,
that's the reality.
Yeah.
And Kane didn't. Kane didn't leave on his own terms. Kane had been dying to leave for a number of years. So there's that to throw into the mix as well.
And we made it as hard as possible.
Yeah, exactly. LAFC tweeted this out yesterday saying, "New beginnings, welcome to Los Angeles, Sonny." And yeah, look, Sonny is going to absolutely smash it in the MLS. A MLS record fee, 20 million or whatever it was. Back under his captain, Hugo Lloris, as well. And LAFC is definitely my MLS club. Not only was it Lloris and Sonny there now, but Gareth Bale also played there as well.
Exactly. So looking forward to seeing Sonny bag as many. There's gonna be so many Sonny screamers. I can't wait for the clips to come out.
Yeah, absolutely.
Sure.
1:30 in the morning, 3 a.m. watch-alongs. We'll be there, people. We will be there. Men in Blazers says the kit is about to go triple platinum in LA. Look at that kit, man. I want to get that so badly.
Wow. I've heard
the home and the away kit.
I've heard the official Son LAFC kit is going for $200.
Wow. $200.
That's what I've heard. That's what I've heard. It's
Maybe
crazy.
I have to forget about copying that.
DHK.
Apollo has tweeted this out. Once a yid, always a yid. Arnaut Danjuma scoring against Arsenal once again yesterday in the Emirates Cup, as Villarreal won, I think, 3-2 at the Emirates yesterday. And there was some weird thing yesterday in that game where there was a penalty shootout after Villarreal had won 3-2. And
Who won the penalty?
I don't even know who won the penalty shootout.
I didn't watch that.
But with this Arsenal, I don't want to sway off topic a little, but Arsenal just look a bit horrific going into the new season.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of Arsenal fans getting worried going to the new season about what's going on there, because another bad performance. Weren't great out in Asia on their tour as well. Poor performance against Spurs in the North London derby. Gyökeres looked completely out of sorts as well. I know it's pre-season and it's only his first few games, but he looked a bit out of sorts. So, yeah, a lot of people getting a bit worried about Arsenal, and they haven't been good in pre-season.
No, they've been shocking, and music to all our ears. So if Spurs are going to struggle this season, let's hope Arsenal struggle as well. But yeah, I don't know about Arsenal and a title challenge going into this season, which would be great to see. But you're looking at Arsenal, right? Their best player looks like a 15-year-old. Like, nobody is performing at anywhere close to his level. But look, enough said about Arsenal. Let's move on. This was Ben Davis's tribute to Sonny on Instagram yesterday. He said, we spent nearly every day together over the last 10 years. It's been a privilege to share so many moments on the pitch and just as many off it. Birthdays, my wedding, celebrating you joining the 100 Club, even the simple things like taking the kids to the swings, introducing you to the in-betweeners and brunches on days off. You've truly become part of my family. It's hard to imagine not seeing you every day, as we always have. We'll miss you terribly, but I know we'll see each other soon. Good luck in the next chapter, Skipper. We know you'll smash it. With love, Ben, Emily, Ralph and Woody. What are the chances that Ben Davies signs for LAFC at the end of next season?
I reckon there's a good chance. Good chance. And I just love to see Sonny watching the In-Betweeners. I would pay so much money for that content. Do a goggle box and get Sonny watching the In-Betweeners. I need to see that.
Yeah. So this is what Spurs put out yesterday, just all the different tributes from Spurs players. So Vicario said, it's been a pleasure and honour to share the pitch with you, my friend. Mickey van der Ven said, we achieved what you always wanted to achieve at the club. It's an honour to share the pitch and dressing room with you. Thank you, legend. Richarlison says, you are not only a great friend, but also an example of a professional, a leader and a human being. You made history wearing the Spurs shirt, and I'm so happy that I was able to share such an important title alongside you. Pedro Porro, you are a true example of a top professional, and you leave Tottenham not only as a legend, but also as a brother to all of us. Best of luck, mi amigo. Solanke says, your legacy will live forever. We'll miss you, legend. Doggy just says legend. Maddison says, 10 years ago you arrived here as a kid. Now you leave it a legend as one of my best friends. Brennan Johnson, absolute pleasure sharing the pitch with you, brother. An unbelievable player, but an even better human. Romero says, you leave as the ultimate legend of this beautiful club. You fell many times, but you kept trying and you made it in the end. Pape says, I'm happy you leave Spurs as a winner. Thank you, Sonny. And Basuma says, my friend, my captain, my big brother.
Beautiful.
Some beautiful messages there.
Also, I enjoy Cootie calling us this beautiful club. Yeah. I enjoy that.
Sign the contract then.
Come on.
Sign the contract.
It's so beautiful.
Do you think if we wouldn't have won the Europa League, Son would have stayed one more year?
Do I think we wouldn't have won the Europa League, he would have stayed one more year? I think maybe he would have signed another 1 year extension, maybe. Potentially. Yeah, I think
because he's always gone out like, I've always stayed just to win that trophy.
Yeah,
if we hadn't have won it, he just in my mind he thought that with the trophy now it's just a perfect.
So we would have lost that final. We would just be in a 17th place team.
Yeah,
and so we wouldn't be in Europe next year.
Yeah.
Would he have still gone? Yeah, maybe he would have felt like it wasn't the right time yet.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I reckon he might have still been here another year.
Yeah.
It's interesting looking at all that though, hearing Ali Gold talking about him as a captain, saying the one thing why he appointed him captain was because he's such a unifier in the squad. He's everyone's best friend. There are sometimes little cliques in the squad, French speakers, Spanish speakers, and whatever. And the only person who was the glue with everyone together was Son. He was the one who can go into each group and bring everyone together. And he was saying that during the tour and stuff in the last few weeks, everyone's noticed Romero starting to do that, trying to take up that mantle and trying to make sure that if Son's not going to be here to do it, someone has to do that kind of role. So that's quite interesting.
It is very interesting, and I think, I think surely very soon we're going to have an announcement on the captain.
It's going to have to be Romero, isn't it?
I think there's no other option.
Yeah, because Madison's, unless Davis.
Surely not.
Well, he said he sounds like he's going to be part of the leadership group.
He will be part of the leadership group, but I think a captain needs to be someone that is going to be, not one of the first names on the team sheet, but one of the players that are going to start week in, week out. And Romero is that. In our ideal world, you want him to sign a contract and be committed to the club if you're going to name him as captain. But he's the one that Frank's been naming as captain alongside Sonny in the pre-season so far. He's the one that's been there, done it, got the T-shirt, now a Europa League winner, World Cup winner, done it all with Argentina, Copa America and that. He's got leadership ability. I know at points last season I was saying I don't ever want to see him wearing a captain's armband ever again, but I think he's got to be captain.
Yeah, I think so.
Tottenham tweeted out saying the legacy of a Spurs legend, Europa League winner 24-25, Golden Boot winner 21-22, Puskas 2020, 454 appearances, 173 goals. Give this man a statue.
And how many assists as well? Over 100 assists as well? He needs some sort of. Some people are saying maybe a stand. Name a stand after him. I saw someone say we should call one of the stands the Sonny side.
The Sonny side. I think.
I like that.
I think a statue. I think it deserves more than a mural.
But we don't do statues.
No, we don't.
So what apart from a statue, what can we do?
Well, it will be a mural or something, won't it? Ledley King.
Well, didn't we have something? Didn't we have a?
Yeah, it was some promotional thing. I think that they
Was
took
it?
down pretty quickly.
Put it back up.
But yeah, looks. I think Kane's got a mural and Ledley King's got a mural. But I think he should be a level above both these players now.
Yeah, he needs something permanent at the ground.
Yeah,
for sure.
Tottenham Hotspur Stadium tweeted out saying he came, he saw, he conquered, icon, and that's going to be an iconic picture for years to come. Him in the centre of the pitch with that Europa League trophy.
I'm just forever grateful that we have these pictures
I
of
know,
him holding that trophy and how we have that. Like, just imagine we lost the final and we just wouldn't have
Van
it.
der Ven's bicycle kick, we might not have had it.
I know. Just imagine that these goodbye messages wouldn't be off the back of how different it would be. Like, it's just as much as it's hard to say goodbye, at least there's a sense of fulfillment, there's a sense of closure having won that trophy. Just imagine we didn't. Like, how much harder this goodbye would be, him leaving without that.
I know.
Just so great that we do have that.
Steve Han with the eyes emoji. This was outside the LAFC stadium yesterday, just Son branding everywhere, which is hard to look at, to be fair. There was another video as well. Spurs put out 3 videos in drips and drabs yesterday, so we reacted to the first 2, but this one actually came out after we shot that reaction video, and this was a video to his teammates yesterday. I mean, it's 2 minutes long, so I'm not sure if we're going to watch it all, but do go and watch that. I'm sure you have already, but very emotional stuff there again from Son Heung-min, just bawling his eyes out throughout the whole 2 minutes.
These videos have been so hard to watch, man.
I know.
It always gets me.
How many times have you watched them as well? Like, I think I've watched them all like 5 times.
I can't watch them too many times. It's too hard.
So LAFC again tweeted this out saying Son Heung-min is black and gold. Son Heung-min signs for LAFC from Tottenham on a permanent transfer through 2027 with options through to June 2029. It's a fairly long contract.
So what that
Maximum
leaves
3
him?
years,
That leaves him
4
how
years.
old? 36 when at the end of the deal.
Yeah.
No, 30. No, to June 2029. That's 4 years.
4 years, yeah.
So 37 he'll be.
I think he'll be there that long as well. I think he's going to finish his career in LA.
Really? Don't he go back to Korea?
I don't think so, because I think with the biggest expat community of Koreans out in LA, I just feel like he's going to settle down there, find a wife, build a life there.
Do you reckon he'll be allowed to marry now?
Not
yet. Will Heung-min dad allow him?
Did you hear what Heung-min dad was saying about him, about why he's left Tottenham and all that?
I saw there was a clip. I don't know when it was from. But
so it was after the Europa League final. He said, well, I sat down with Heung-min Son and I said, look, with all you've achieved, you've worked so hard throughout your whole career. You've given your life and soul.
Yeah,
and I've said to you, now this is the time to go find a city that you want to live in and settle down in and all this kind of stuff. So that kind of says to me that he's gone to LA to go kind of build a life for himself now, find a wife, find a family, build a family. And so I think he will find a wife now. Like, I think he'll be allowed.
He'll be allowed
to now.
But also that means he's probably gone to LA because of that city. That's the main reason he thought about. That's the kind of life I want to live. Something in that city. So that's
exactly.
That's good.
Jed Spence on Instagram just screenshotted him just bawling his eyes out and said, "Still my captain." And a few people on social media looked at this as a shot at Couto Romero, and I'm like, what are you talking about? That is no shot at Couto Romero.
What did he say?
Still my captain.
No, it's not. He's Romero's captain. You know what I mean? He saw Romero trying to force. Nah, it's nothing to do with Romero.
But anyway, that is how the internet did react to all the situations online yesterday. But that is it from us today. I think there was a few super chats just before we end the stream. Oh, there's quite a few here, actually. C9 Manic says that someone I'd like us to look at in the 10 is Charles Di Catale at Atalanta. Paratici's Serie A connections could come in clutch. It's not a bad shout, to be fair.
Yeah, and the thing is, he did very well, and then he went to, I think, AC Milan and didn't have a great time. Was it AC Milan he went to?
He did go to AC Milan.
Yeah, and then he didn't have a great time of it there, and then now he's gone to back to Atlanta? Yeah, because he was at Atalanta.
No,
wasn't it?
he was at Bruges. He went to Milan. He went to Milan for a season.
Yeah, it wasn't great. Now he's gone to Atalanta. Atalanta's a weird place, though. It seems as though all attackers just seem to do very well there.
Yeah, because of Gasperini and the way.
And Gasperini is no longer there.
Yeah.
So, but a lot of the players, they leave there and they don't do as well. So it's hard to know. But I like him. Good player.
The Joracle with a members chat. 53 months, the Joracle. Big up to you, Jory. I saw him on Instagram yesterday necking down a pint of Guinness.
Come on.
He says, Ben and Sim statue at N17 now. And one for Son as well. Superstar era of Tottenham Hotspur is at an end. Footy personalities is a dying breed. And we have the best of them all.
Yeah.
Well, we had the best of them all, yeah.
It's so true. We're going to... As well, we've just lost Son. And Madison's going to be out. We've got no personality in this bloody squad anymore.
Yeah. Jory as well with the super chat says, how did Davis end up being the last Poch player? Not only did he end up being the last Poch player, but he was also Poch's first signing, which is just mad.
That's crazy.
If I said to you, looking at that Champions League final team or the last team at White Hart Lane, whatever, that Ben Davis in 10 years' time is going to be the last one here.
No one's ever wanted him. It's crazy. Look, I feel like I'm always like being disrespectful to Davis, and I don't want to be, but it just frustrates me sometimes that he kind of represents the club not moving forward sometimes where it should be. And I kind of focus it on him because he's the one here, but like...
You've got to give Ben Davis credit because, you know, he's been here for 11 years now, I think it is. He's been dependable Ben for all those 10, 11 years. Yes, I know we want better than him, but he's been such a great servant to the football club.
I know, but he's been surplus to requirements for a long time.
But that's not his fault.
I understand that, but I'm not blaming him for it. It's just the reality. It's just frustrating that he's still here, and we're gonna have to rely on him again this season. He's gonna play a lot. I'm telling you, he's gonna play a lot this season, and we should never be in that situation.
Yeah. Malware says Sim had one job, bring Son back.
Yeah, I know.
Carry on. You couldn't even do
Sorry,
your one
I
job,
tried.
Sim. You had
I tried.
one job to do, man.
Man. Let him slip through my fingers.
And Marcus said Son's last Champions League game was the round of 16 loss to AC Milan.
Oh, why'd you have to bring
You
that
had to
up?
bring that one up, Marcus, didn't you?
One negative thing. All right, you won the Europa League. That's all I care about.
But you look at it as well. Like we always said, these things will kick us on when we beat Arsenal 3-0 in that game, and they went and kicked on, and we went backwards. Right? It's happened again. It's happened again. We've beaten Manchester United in the Europa League final, and now look at the signings Man United have made. About to get Sesko over the line, Cunha and Buemo, potentially even a Baleba as well. It's absolute madness how we let this happen every single time. Like you look at Man United's front three.
Yeah. Shit's on ours, yeah.
None of our players get into their front three.
It's true. If you've Cunha, Buemo,
Look at
Sesko.
Man United. Man United are becoming a bit of a scary proposition when you're looking at the team that they're building. Imagine going into a season, Baleba, Mainu, and Bruno Fernandes as a midfield three, or even if they just play a midfield two, Baleba and Bruno Fernandes.
Well, they haven't got Baleba yet.
No, but you know they're in talks, and you know they might get him, they might not. Fine, but they're at least they're like actually in talks with a top quality player to fill a gap that they need in the squad. And then the front three, Cunha and Buemo and Sesko, like bloody hell, man! Like they are actually kicking on, and they are looking like a force to be reckoned with.
Yep, and just a month ago, it's been a month now since we got the Gibbs White Here We Go. Been a month, and it seemed as though we were being serious this window. And since the whole Gibbs White thing fell apart, everything's fallen apart for us.
Yeah. A month ago, we thought, it's a new Tottenham, investments here. We're going to start splashing the cash.
It's all bollocks.
Nothing's happened since. We got Palida on loan, though. That's a decent move.
Jack Pitbrook says Tottenham are interested in Nico Pats, but have denied making any bids.
At least we're interested. That's something, at least. Reese with the super chat says, Sim did say we'd have a poor window, the Oracle.
I said, yeah, we'd have a quiet one, which is, at the moment, I said it will be very quiet. In fact, I said we'll get one big one before the pre-season tour, and then after Frank's had a look at the squad, we'll start to see a bit more movement, which has turned out to be true, but a bit of luck because Gibbs White thing fell through. But I'm not going to start celebrating having a poor window. Let's just hope look, window's not over yet. And also Paulinho we got. Yeah. That's good. I like Paulinho. I actually haven't said anything yet on the channel about Paulinho, but I think it's a really good signing. I actually think it's perfect for us. I know I've said things about needing a bit more of a passer, and I still think that's true. But I also think I've also said we don't have like an elite defensive player. And I think he is that, and I think he'll bring stability. As long as we're getting the Paulinho that was at Fulham, I think we're getting a phenomenal midfielder, so I'm happy with him.
I agree with that. When you're looking at Spurs next season, I do think we're going to be hard to beat. I think, our defensive structure looks really good. Add Paulinho into that, which we'll see later. Hopefully, I think he's going to start maybe later, or at least come on. You're going to see a team that's really hard to beat, in my opinion. But it's going the other way, which I'm really worried about. I think you might see a lot of 0-0s at this state.
That's the thing. We don't watch Tottenham because we're hard to beat. I want us to be hard to beat. Don't get me wrong, but I don't want to watch Tottenham.
It needs to be a balancing act. I
don't want to watch just grinding out results.
Last season it was the other way. Like we were so attacking, we could score goals for fun, but we'll let in goals for fun. Now it's going to be the polar opposite.
There's a Sesko. Here we go.
Sesko. Here we go. There we go. Well, on that note, I think we're going to end the stream, but I want to thank you all for joining today. We'll be back pretty soon, actually. 5:15, we'll be back for the watch-along Spurs against Bayern Munich in the Allianz. So very much looking forward to that. Thank you, everyone, for joining us today. Like, subscribe, and comment. Another super chat just before we go. Let's read this one out. They don't want us to go. Soccer 10.9 says, being realistic, I don't think we have a good chance of Rodrigo. Oh, really?
Oh.
So I think we should push for Eze and an 11 and a 9. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
in an ideal world, I'd agree with you. I mean, that's what I want, but I think Spurs have other ideas, unfortunately. But thank you very much for the super chat. And we'll see you guys very, very soon. 5:15, come and join us for the watch-along. Bayern Munich against Tottenham. Like, subscribe, and comment. And as always, come on, you Spurs.